Clear. Clear.
Alright, today I'm going to do a video on the installation of the Haley Strategic Thorntail Offset Keymod light mount. So this is the one that creates an offset 1913 rail for a light that attaches to that on a Keymod handguard. What we'll need for the installation today is the items that came in this packaging. So you've got your rail section, the mount, and the screws that attach the two together. You'll need a 9/32 Allen wrench and an appropriately sized Torx wrench. This is the one that comes with all the BCM accessories. It's the appropriate size for this mount as well. You also want to have the light you intend to use. In my case, it's an Inforce WML, and the rifle that you intend to attach the light to. Now, these two pieces go together a particular way. So what you want to do is look at the way these tracks line up. Okay, and this is the appropriate way to put the two of them together. You then get to decide which of these screw holes here you want your two set screws on the bottom here to run to. So those will be the two screws that hold these two pieces together. You could go anywhere you want along this track. So you can go all the way out to either end. You can go somewhere in the middle. It all depends where and how you're going to mount your light. So before you decide where to attach these two together, you want to decide where on your rifle this light's going to be mounted. Alright, so in my case, I've got an SBR here, relatively short handguard. I'm going to want this light mounted just about all the way forward. So in order to do that, what I'm going to be looking at is these Keymod slots right here. So that's where the attachment piece, the Keymod piece, is going to mount to my rail. From there, I've got to decide where on this I want my 1913 section. So I want to hold that on there, on that track, and then take a look at, with my light, where am I going to want that mounted. So in my case, I'm going to want this just about all the way forward. So if I mount my 1913 section all the way forward on this, I could go into my second to last slot with my WML and have the light positioned about where I want it. It also gives me the option to move it forward or back one slot each if I mount it that way. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach these two pieces. So this is how I want this lined up. I've determined this is the way I want it oriented. Those screws are going to insert through the bottom here. So what I'll do is I'll take blue Loctite, and we're going to put a little bit of that on each of these screws and then insert them into the corresponding slots. So if you can see, I have those screw holes lined up. And I'm just going to barely tighten that one. And get the blue Loctite on my next screw. And same thing, just going to get that started. Alright, now that both of them are lined up appropriately, I'm going to tighten them down. And with all these type of accessories, they're made from aluminum. It's fairly strong, but you do want to be cautious not to over tighten these things. You can destroy them. If you really crank down, you'll strip things out. So just nice and snug, hand tight with hand tools like so. I would not recommend using a power tool on any of these installations. Now, in order to get this onto your Keymod rail, what you want to look at are these right here. So these come already installed on this mounting piece. They thread backwards. So if you're looking at it like this and you want to loosen this up to get it onto the Keymod rail, you want to actually turn it the direction you would normally tighten things. That's going to loosen that up, open it up to put it on the Keymod slot. Now, if I look at the spot I determined I'm going to put this on the Keymod rail, I can just set that in place and see that it fits. Now, what I'll want to do is also Loctite these two pieces. So to Loctite these ones, we're going to take these guys out. We're just going to put a small amount of blue Loctite on those threads. Alright, just have them started in there with a little bit of slack. Alright, then I'm looking at the appropriate Keymod slots. I'm going to drop those in there, allow it to key into place, which means slide it forward until it kind of locks into place for you. And now you'll tighten down these screws right here. I'm just going to snug the first one up. Now, when you're turning these screws from the top, they do turn the correct direction. It's just when you're on the back side of it, loosening and tightening is kind of the opposite orientation. Same thing again, snug those down hand tight with a hand tool. Don't crank them down super hard. You will destroy them. And there we go. That thing is set into place. So next comes attaching the light to it. And I figured the second to last slot would put that light about where I want it to be. So when I'm gripping this gun, I can activate my white light. Let me try moving it one more slot forward. That is actually right where I want that to be. So that worked out just right. Having that item mounted all the way forward with the WML, just barely covers the back of that mount and has that light oriented right where I want it on this particular gun. There's been a lot of hate on the WML lights for breaking, lack of durability. The first generation of them, I believe, they've acknowledged some lack of durability to them. Both of the WMLs I have are first gens, and they've both been durable enough. I haven't broken either of them. So I guess decide if it's something you're willing to take the risk of, but the ergonomics of it are unbeatable, in my opinion.